AAA game developers seem to be moving a lot of their gameplay philosophy and focus over to a wider audience with a lower attention span. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, as it allows the medium to grow. But oftentimes, it leaves games that have a higher skill ceiling or a higher barrier to entry in the dust. Mordhau is a good example of a modern game that doesn't really hold your hand as you're trying to learn it, and although it has a tutorial, it really only teaches you the mechanics of the game rather than how to play it. I believe that the high skill floor could be lowered, and that some of the gameplay flaws lie in the effectiveness of armor, as well as some unintuitive gameplay design of certain weapons. First, we're going to discuss armor. Armor is a pivotal gameplay mechanic of Mordhau that can make or break certain engagements. However, much of the time, level 2 or above armor almost seems like more of a hindrance to movement than anything else. I believe that level 2 and level 3 armor should be increased in cost as well as effectiveness by an extreme margin. This will make the armor feel less like paper mache and more like actual armor. This segues perfectly into our next topic, weapon balancing. The 4 main weapons that I hear new players complain about the most are the Evening Star, the Mace, the Maul, and the Executioner's Sword. The first weapon we are going to discuss is the Mace, which is a 2-shot to anywhere on the body with any type of armor. This is an issue when you consider the speed, as it is the fastest weapon with that kind of damage in the game, although its main downside is range. A lot of the time newer players and experienced players get completely fucked by this weapon due to its high speeds as well as high damage. One thing to remedy this, as well as some other things on this list, would be to up the effectiveness of level 2 and level 3 armor to be able to take more than that amount of hits. Obviously, part of the Mace's purpose is to be able to counter armor. By increasing the effectiveness of level 3 and level 2 armor, you don't lower the skill ceiling, you just lower the skill floor. Especially since the Evening Star does a similar amount of damage despite being slower and a 2-handed weapon, although it does have range in its favor. Speaking of the Evening Star, I'm going to move on to my next topic, the Evening Star, Maul, and Executioner's Sword, all lumped into one. These 3 weapons are an even bigger example of what's wrong with the game. Due to being slow, it is really easy to manipulate their attacks, with a drag or an XL. And although I believe that XLs and drags need to be toned down a bit, they're not something that should be removed from the game, obviously, as they are what makes the combat system unique. Having weapons that are this slow and can hit while even at a standstill in the player's animation makes it extremely infuriating to fight against as a new player or even an experienced player. Now, all this might sound like the groveling of a new player mad about being killed in the video game, but I do believe that a compromise can be made. Level 3 and level 2 armor being increased in effectiveness can easily fix all of these issues. They'd obviously have to be increased in cost, meaning you wouldn't be able to have a polearm as well as level 3 armor or perks. But not having paper mache would easily fix a lot of these issues. All in all, I believe that the high skill floor is what's impeding the game's progress, with only 6,000 players on a daily basis. Thanks for watching this short little complaint. Maybe leave a like or something if you give a shit, or subscribe.